We are currently plugged in live, new trading session. You can see the trade we took. US30 sell, trying to see if it can give us a 1-to-4 RRR risk to reward ratio. So just try to keep it simple. Now, why we entered this one, I'll just pinpoint what I was looking at. Okay, so just pushed almost on TP. Okay. Almost. Oh, okay. Anyways, I was looking at potential sales, right? I was leaning on sales. The reason I was leaning on sales, initially I thought the price would actually come here on the zone here, but as you can see, price didn't come. So 15:30 now, the stock market open. What happened is price sort of rejected. So you see this on a smaller time frame. So since I was leaning on sales, I just still had to execute the trade. Okay, so this is M5. M1. Okay, so you see this is the move we got at the stock market open. We took out liquidity right there. So this was my last level. As soon as we broke it, I also saw that price broke this level. All right, so now what we simply marked was an imbalance, which is right here. Our entry was there, and initially my stop loss was on top. It was on top there, the top part. Then okay, I'm just trying to multitask because I'm managing the trade on my phone. So initially my stop loss was outside the range. Then as price moved and it gave us this aggressive candle here, I then moved my stop loss to here, then left it like that. So trying to see if they'll get to 1-to-4, but usually we aim for 1-to-3, which was already hit. So you also know our scale out points depending with what you are trading. So this setup might actually tend to a buy. We just want to see what's going on right there. So let's see what happens. They could still bounce off here and still come back down. But anyways, in terms of points from the entry to the bottom side, it's 80. So you know when we're trading indices, we usually aim for 50 points. Most of the times we aim for 50 points. So I also executed the same trade on NASDAQ. So NASDAQ didn't give me the particular pattern I needed. It was just an impulsive sell. I entered at 14,458, which was actually somewhere here. After I saw this rejection here. Right there, price showing potential to push down. So it was just an impulsive entry to actually come down. So that was just like a stock market open impulsive trade, and good thing is it played out. Good thing is it played out. So I've also been having an eye on EU. Like I said, my main focus today is on EU. Right? And UJ. So let's see if we got something there. A UJ, I feel like this area where the price is, it's a point of interest for me. So I would say I'm leaning on sales for now. If I can get a reaction anyway in here, I would love to sell UJ. That's my current view there. I would love to sell UJ, but let's just wait for a reaction here. So I'm waiting for price to either take out the New York high or react in this order block or take out the London high or give equal highs. That's what I'm waiting for on UJ. EU, I've been wanting buys. The zones I wanted, you can see they've been broken. I didn't really get anything. So let me just wait 12 more minutes, wait for the H1 candle to close. Then after that, possibly I'll get a setup. So the indices seem to be pushing up. Let me just quickly go back, see if we can scalp something. A Nasdaq. So Nasdaq is taking out liquidity there on the bottom. We do agree. So we could be leaning on buys. Let me just quickly confirm something. Okay, I just wanted to see where price got to here. We've taken out liquidity there. So this current buy could actually be good for us. Let me just quickly check another trade I got here. C1, C3, C5. Okay, I think this took me out because my stop loss was on 42.85. But anyways, all right, what do we have here? I'm going to take this off so that I can see my price properly. Okay, so we got our push up, price is pushing up, an order block here. Possible retracement, US30, what do we have? So they didn't get exactly to the 1 to 4, but our setup, initial sell setup was good though. So now we've broken a structure, possible pullback for a retest. For the buys, let's see, broken a structure here. So again, if you're scalping or day trading, you really need to make quick decisions. It's different from seeing where you enter and you just let price play out. If you are scalping or intraday trading or trading like the stock market open like this short term, depending with your trading style, you just have to make sure that your decision making and execution is fast, especially at the stock market open because there is a lot of volume involved. Okay, so for now, I can safely say I'll wait for 4 p.m., which is in 8 minutes before I can execute any trade safely. Right now, let's just let the market settle. Nasdaq looks like it's a multi-session W. I think it's visible for all of us. This is a multi-session W. I just want to see if there will be a reaction here, maybe. As soon as we come up here, we get a possible retest. I'll be looking to scalp a buy. So I'm stalking on Nasdaq. Stalking on Nasdaq. Again, this is my next draw of liquidity. So I'll be looking for a buy all the way up here to the Asian highs. I think same applies to US30. Although depending with where we get an entry, this would be a potential target because we might also get price bouncing off here. So once you see a failed W, once you see price coming to break this, you know price still wants to push down. Those are also some of the things you need to take note of. A failed pattern in one direction usually means that price is going the other way. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, I think US30. Which account is this? US30. I'm thinking of scalping a buy right now. Current market price. We in. This is again a quick scalp. A more relaxed entry. I'll take it at 4 p.m. This is just a quick scalp. Right, let's see how that goes. Nasdaq, can I scalp the retracements? Do they want to come reaches something, then push up? That's also very possible. Also very, very, very possible. Okay, for now, focus on US30 because I believe from my entry, we could actually get 50 points. Actually get 50 points. Right, going back to EU. See how the M15 closes. Gold could be a stop hunt. This huge momentum candle there could be a stop hunt. GU also looks like it needs to be bullish. So again, if you see on GU, we've got an M currently like a multi-session type pattern. So if the M fails, it simply means GU is pushing up, and this is my next draw on liquidity on the top there. So I'll be looking for a nice buy on GU, just waiting to see how this M15 candle closes. Just waiting to see how it closes. Okay, our US30 scalp. Let's see. Okay. So at some point, I'm just going to start looking at one item. Right now, I'm just seeing which one of these four can I actually put my focus on to get the best return. There we go, our flip zone there. Let's check UJ. UJ is refusing to tap into the area I wanted to tap into. And it's like it's not moving. Of all these pairs I'm looking at, it looks like it's the one which is not moving. But anyways, all good, all good. Since this is a scalp, you have to break even or scale out on US30. Break even or scale out. So let's figure out what this price wants to do. I feel multi-session W, take out a zone. M5 price is almost balanced except, okay, I'm going to remove this now. Except for this particular level here. If you notice, there's like a white line there. It's coming from an H1, from an M1 1 minute level, which is this one, which was broken aggressively here. So from then, this was the imbalance. Order block slightly below. Could it be that price can retrace into this zone, give us a buy, maybe back to this level? Or could it be price wants to hit this zone and push down? So we just open to all possibilities there. Same applies to Nasdaq, which has got a bit of a variation. So usually if our pattern is not clear on the M1, I prefer using the M3. So we had an aggressive push up. We've broken structures here. Imbalance on the bottom, imbalance here. So let's see if price will pull back into this area here. Do I have a fib here? Let's see. Okay, any place in here from the 50 equilibrium to about 0.786 on the fib, anywhere there I might consider buys. I might consider buys if price action aligns. Okay, I might consider buys if price action aligns. Okay, this one failed. I think I had shared a setup for this particular trade. It failed. I was looking for a reaction here for price to come back down to this level, but it has failed. They could potentially react here. But again, we'll see what price does before we decide to do anything. For now, I think I'm going to put all efforts on what we're looking at on currencies. So I'll just be toggling on these particular assets. Sometimes we look at assets which do not move at all. Okay, EU broke, hit. We could get a failed M here. High probability of a failed M. So we are prepared to take longs. If we're taking longs, the zone is no longer applicable, so I'm going to remove it. Structure broken, both broken with an imbalance here. So is price going to come back here? Maybe. Maybe they'll react off here. Maybe they'll react off the Friday high for a flip zone setup. That's all possible, but for now, this is the current view. And let me see. I'm not sure if I marked my next draw in liquidity, but it's somewhere on the top there. Might be 1.64500. Something like that. So we'll see that one later. Right, let's see what happens. We need one clean setup, which is going to give us at least 1:3 risk to reward ratio. Also, not forgetting that today is Monday. So the market might just decide to go flat. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is a clean W from my point of view. Point of interest there. Broken zone. Same as M5. Right, let's see how it goes. Again, we don't want to get, from our past experiences, you don't want to get too engrossed like within the smaller time frame structure, because sometimes you need to come back outside, see the bigger picture, and try to decipher what price is trying to do. So liquidity taken, nice push up. We could potentially come to the Asian highs. That's my current bias now. The only thing I need is a good entry point. Let me just check something. The only thing I need is a good entry point. So yeah, let's see what happens. So I'm just across the board stoking gold. GU, this for me. Okay, if you come on M15 trading at the close of the candle, we did this earlier on EU. If you watched the previous session shared today, we did it on EU. We had a setup like this, entry on M15. Though the risk to reward becomes a bit less, we can try. So we've got a bias. So what we try and do now is look for an entry. I love entries which retrace, but sometimes price can just run away. Sometimes price just runs away and you try to figure out, damn, why did it just go without us? So if I'm to buy this, this is a point of interest for me. M3 imbalance, and I also have an imbalance right on the zone, right? So hence you see this. So we could get triggered here. The price can drop as low as this area. So the best setup will be the one where I've got less risk in terms of pips, which is the bottom zone. But sometimes if they react here and if I'm satisfied, I end up moving like a stop loss to here to minimize the risk. So for now, that's the trade idea. Possible buys. Not sure if I should put a limit here or not. So I'm just stoking everything across the board. I'm only looking like at 4 things or 5 things, 4 or 5 things. So I'm just scrolling across the board to see where I can get an entry. I'd be happy with buys here. Just a straight away buy. See the way price action is. Looks like it's hold being held there. So I think I'll actually consider buys. But let's see. At the same time, they can still pull back here, or they could reject on the previous day's low, making it a flip zone. So I'm just cautious on how I handle this area where the price is. Same applies to US30, although this one, okay, you can see we got a clean order block here. Let's see. Okay. Sometimes when the lines become too many, so this is also a potential move. This would be a killer setup. We can even not be greedy and just take profits here. My reasoning for this particular setup would be price took out liquidity. Yes, there is trapped volume here. So if price does come back, they'll just come tap into the trapped volume, then push up. That's another possible play. That's another possible play. So for now, we're waiting on the sidelines. EU, I just love them to come into the order block. Gold bouncing off the previous day's lows. Waiting to see if this is also a failed M. Okay, let's just check other things quickly. NU have been looking at buys since morning, potential buys. Looks like they want to move now. I even wanted buys on Fridays, didn't move. So NU, for me, this is a buy setup for real. So usually NU, when I look at NU, I also like to look at AU. You can see the setup we had at London. We wanted this buy. They continued again to extend the low, pushed up, expecting a zone, now pushing up. So NU, AU, they look like they're going up. So what about EU? Pretty much the same setup. The question is, are they going to pull back? So now you just have to use your own discretion. What are you willing to risk? What are you willing to lose on that particular setup? Do like these money to be made here on this particular setup. I'm actually gonna laugh at myself after this because there's something I was backtesting earlier which actually presented itself and I couldn't see it in real time. Okay, Nasdaq looking good. See bouncing off that zone, so I'm going to be active on Nasdaq. Going to be active on Nasdaq. If they decide to take me out, it is what it is. Entered right. Okay, in terms of points, love to target Friday's highs. Let's see, all the way to the Asian highs at 60 points. So I'll be scaling out there, but I would love to target Friday's highs. US30, are they going to give the same, or are they going to retrace? US30 it's a bit different from the others, because US30 you just need to enter at the right time, because usually the way I trade it, entry has to be precise to avoid a drawdown. Hence, I'm still waiting. I still want them to come above Friday's highs. Right there. That's why you see I'm still a bit patient. But Nasdaq is pushing. So I'm literally active on NU, AU, Nasdaq, EU. I'm left with US30 to complete this, but at the same time, I'm approaching my day's target. So if I do hit my day's target, then I might not trade US30. Right, let's see what's happening here. So C5, if they do come back below the zone, I'm going to still consider going short. Oh, excuse me, if we come below the 50 EMA as well. I was not so happy with my other entries, but anyways, let's see what US30 has in store for us. So all focus is now on US30. All focus is now on US30. USD CAD, do they want to drop without coming up? Want to drop without coming up? It's ugly price action. Too ugly for my liking. Also been stalking oil. You can see now they took out the lows from the morning. Want to see a break of this zone before I can really get excited. Here, GPY. Yeah, this one, we looked at it earlier and I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm very close to my target, you guys. Patience. Very close to my target. Okay, we're gonna talk about CG just now. We'll talk about CG just now. Okay, close all positions. Good trading day. Okay, let's see if I can execute on my other account. I'm still interested in US30. As you can see, this could be just a momentum push, guys. This could just be a momentum push. But I've reached my targets. I might consider taking the trade if a good pattern presents. For now, I feel like they could retrace to the bottom side. Hence, I'm reluctant to enter there. Nasdaq, I literally scalped it a little bit, but then with the other positions I had, I just hit my TP, so like my target for the day. So I closed all positions. You can also see here this price action. The reason I'm taking this buy is because we are sort of trading now above Friday's lows. It's more like we back into Friday's range, right? So that's my other reason for wanting to take buys here. Target Asian highs and possibly Friday's highs. US30, more or less the same thing. More or less the same thing. But what I'm now looking for, okay, I'll leave this here because this can still be valid for a later session. What I'm seeing now is right here, there is an imbalance. And it's been tapped into, I think, slightly. Can we get another tap? Can we get another tap? Are we still bouncing in, coming back down? Not too sure. So I'll still be highly patient with US30, but I'm actively stopping it. So let's see C1000. I'm just going to do an overall analysis. C1000, I think I'm still bearish. Still bearish. From here, it's more like the setup I had on C1, but C1 sort of extended up a bit. So this one, I'm still anticipating a push down to create or to take out these lows. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. So if we go to H1, which is where we're gonna leave it, it's actually a good drop, but at the same time they could create an M. So be open to the idea that this price can retrace up, create an M and another bounce off the 50 level on the TDI, then drop. That's also possible. Then if we break this immediate lows and retest them, that would be a perfect sell. So if we do this area here will be a good area to sell from. So from the 50, retest the 50, maybe we'll retest the 50 again, then we'll retest the 13. So this is my kills of sells, which will possibly happen a bit later. Just depends like with what momentum we have in the market. B1 for now. Okay, we are on a point of interest as well. Let's see. So it's the previous day's low, the 200, the 800. Not really convinced to buy yet on B1000 until we break this area. Okay, B500, ugly price action. You can see from like 2 days ago. I don't like trading B5. Most of the times it's just ugly, but usually, sometimes when it moves, it moves. But for now, you can see it's just ugly price action. The J10, I'm not active on it, so I won't really talk much. So B5, nothing. B1, nothing until we break that level. C3, a bit ugly. We might look at it in the next few days, or maybe consider sales at the break of this trend line there, we should just put. C1, we just spoken about it. C5, okay, C5 is sort of trying to show that it wants to come up, but I would say if we get a third hit to the moving average, we could potentially see price come to where we wanted it to come earlier. So that's my views there. Okay, there we go. So our price is coming up. Definitely. Although it's slow, not giving us a pattern which I like. So I'll be on the sidelines. I might actually call it a day because overall we still had a good day. I can see EU actually pushing, man, pushing big time. Wow. Okay, that was a quick push. They didn't retrace again to the thing. They didn't retrace to the point of interest. So a normal setup where high probability setup will be a setup whereby price breaks the structure, comes and bounces into a point of interest. But for EU, just running away with the bag. So we won't stress much, especially on EU, because we caught a buy again in the morning. So we won't really stress much about it. Lovely. So that's a failed M. Remember, if a pattern is failed, if a pattern fails, it shows price is going the other way. So if you see an M and you're taking sales and it fails to continue coming down and it's violated, it means price is going the other way. It's just as simple as that. I hope that helps, especially for day traders. So again, US30 looks like it really wants to push. Nasdaq is pushing. US500 is pushing. So I might be tempted. No, I'm not tempted. I'm done for the day. I was going to say I might be tempted to buy, but I would rather not. So always try to follow your rules. That's the weakness we get. Sometimes you feel like when you're trading, you make something and you feel like it's not enough. But always remember, it's always good to protect what you make. So if you take a trade and it hits profit or you reach your daily target, it's always good to also stop trading for that particular day. And you was also a clean setup. You can see this push. We were respecting the previous day's low. And we eventually pushed at 1530. Fake move down, then price started to steadily push up. So this one again, this candle closes in 3 minutes. We might have an imbalance there. We know we possibly coming up here. So in case you haven't traded, you might look at this possible move. In terms of risk to reward, if the zone holds, it will actually be a good trade. Even though the distance might look like it's short, you can see there's a possibility of getting a 1 to 5, but it all depends with how price reacts on the point of interest. So that will also determine the risk to reward ratio. So let me just leave this here so that when we maybe back test, we might review it a little bit. Right, guys, I think that's it for today. I don't think I've got anything else to add. The only thing I would say is if you haven't traded yet and you get an opportunity to enter here, just look for price to come to this area. 33,200. You're looking for any potential buy from as low as this area, which will give like 3 hits to the low, for buys with a TP here and a TP here around 33,400 as well. Those will be my points of interest, unless price decides to bounce here, then break this low, then maybe it will be doing something else which I haven't planned for. But if it does anything which I've planned for, then, or anything which you have planned for, then you should always execute. So I think, yeah, let's see. Let me just quickly check UG. UG has been the one which I haven't really checked. So they're deciding to move without really tapping into this zone. But nevertheless, going to put an alert there. Well, in case it decides to like spike up, or get an alert for possible sales as well. So for me, guys, I don't think I've got anything else. Yeah, like I said, we've looked at almost everything. Looked at almost everything. Gold, again, gold is also back above the previous day's low, which is Friday. So we could get a push up to 2,000 gold. I'm really expecting it to be bullish, or anticipating it to be bullish, especially with the war going on. You know, people switch to gold as a safe haven. So long term, okay, what did I press there? Long term, I would say gold will potentially get to 2050. Or it will potentially set new all-time highs. You can see this high here. This was COVID time. This was the, what was this? Russia-Ukraine war. Then this particular push we're anticipating now, let me put it straight in line. This particular push we're anticipating now is being fueled by the current war happening in the Middle East. So if you know what's going on around the world, it becomes a bit easier to know where price could potentially go. So when you know that price is bullish, for example, gold, I feel like we will be bullish until we get to at least 2060, 2070, and set an all-time high. So if you can get an entry, you can always execute. So you can see liquidity taken. A push up. Yeah, definitely we could see gold setting all-time highs. So if you know your bias, like I said, it's all it boils down to now is you start looking for potential areas where price can actually retrace into before we consider buys. You also look for potential areas where price can get to in terms of scaling out. Okay, so for now, you can see this is what I had. We've just been pushing up. The retracements have just been, haphazard. Nothing too clean. But for now, we seem to be going sideways from Friday. So from Friday, today, we're sort of within a range. We broke out a little bit in the morning, but we're sort of within that range. So we'll just keep stalking on what price wants to do. We'll just keep stalking on what price wants to do. This is also... So these are just points of interest. Let me actually check something again. Okay, let me do it like this. Right, price can push up to 1990. That's my immediate target, right? So should I get any reason to buy, I'll be looking to actually take this gold buy all the way to 1990. So this is a higher time frame like analysis. You can see the risk to reward is like 1 to 3. It all depends on how much you risk based on this particular setup. But you should also be in mind that price can still potentially pull back down. So just checking this. I've been saying I'm ending this session, but I keep going on. So once I have a target, a potential target, the only thing I'll do with gold is might actually consider buying it. I will be looking for any opportunities for any cleaner pattern for a buy. You can see the indices are now pushing down. Hey, this price sometimes can humble you. That's why sometimes you just need to understand what type of trader you are. Go for what you know you can get in the market. My reason for executing on the 1 minute is because I can get my risk to reward setup, or my best setup within a short space of time. So price could actually drop again, like we said, back to this level. Get it? So if you're on the 1 minute and you haven't yet traded, you should just know what you're looking for or where you think price is going. Then if you see a pattern going towards where you are heading, there's one thing to do: execute. So that's a potential target, right? 1 minute. Remember, we've got a fair value gap here. So if it respects, price will shoot up. So be able to process data fast if you're scalping. So if this is the target, and if we've broken a structure here, maybe a minor structure here, and we've left an order block here, we could say maybe we might get something like this. Is this not a 1 to 8? It's actually 1 to 8 if it holds, that is. But you can actually see where we have a point of interest and where we are perceiving our price to go. So if we are to take a risk, this will be a risk worth taking, because we're only risking about 22 points to make 174, which is like a huge risk to reward. Normally we go for 1 to 3. But this again is just an estimate to show you the possibility of setups on smaller time frames. So let's just see how it goes. I'll just talk on price to see what happens. But I think for today we're done. We catch up tomorrow. London session in the morning. That'll be about 9 a.m. SA time. Good trading.